UFC Baku was mid. It was okay. It wasn't that great. Prelims sucked. Main card was good up until the main event. It kind of like the start and the end of the main card sucked. Honestly, the main event was a big letdown, and my God, the most embarrassing, and by far, I mean it as much as I could possibly mean it, most embarrassing fighter in the UFC without a shadow of a doubt is Jamal Hill, on the basis of performance and on the basis of, I mean, quite literally how he acted after the fight. I'm going to go over every single fight on this card. My name's Evan DBM. I appreciate you guys for all watching here. Let's go over the entire card, and I'll talk to you guys. Let me close this Discord. About every single fight, about what I think happens every single fight here, and kind of just break down what I was watching. I could not believe some of these performances. I couldn't believe how there are a lack of finishes on some of these situations. We start off with Mo Usman versus Hamza Abdul Wahab. I could talk so much about this main event. I have a lot to talk about on this card because we got screwed on a good card. We got screwed out of a good card, and thank God we have UFC 317 next week, because we need that after these last two cards that we've watched. Even our card before or so, before 316. I mean, 3 of the last 4 cards were abysmal. Anyways, Hamza Abdul Wahab versus Muhammad Usman. As disgusting of a performance from Hamza as you could possibly imagine. I picked Mo Usman. By the way, I got smoked on these last 2 cards. This card and the last card, I got sped on. 2 of my worst performing cards. Actually, my 2 worst performing cards, literally ever. But yeah. I do think that Mo Usman won this fight 29-28, pretty clear. I think the judges got it right. Hamza won the early rounds. Mo Usman does not really know how to use his feet at all, walking, let alone it being an MMA. I mean, he overreacts wildly. He did outland Hamza for the most part. More significant strikes in general. I mean, every single striker was significant. The takedown attempts, Usman had a couple really weird ones. I don't understand why he kept trying to shoot on Hamza, knowing that Hamza's, thing is wrestling, and Hamza just gassed after round 1, like badly. And then Usman clipped him in round 2, and obviously when you're a guy who usually gasses and then ends up getting clipped, I mean, it's always going to gas you out a little bit more. Showed it on Hamza, and Usman won rounds 2 and 3 clearly. Hurt Abdul Wahab in rounds 2 and 3 as well. So yeah, Mo Usman, clear win. Okay fight, not the worst, not the best. Honestly, not good at all, apart from Usman clipping him. Azat Maksum versus Tahir Ulanbekov. I kind of scored this for Maksum, to be honest. It was close. I mean, you could probably argue that Maksum won this fight 29-28. I feel like a lot of people also feel that way. 30-27 Tagirs were hysterical. I couldn't believe that was an actual scorecard. Very competitive fight. It was actually a pretty fun decision between the two. Tagir landed some good shots overall. Maksum actually landed some good shots. It was a pretty fun and competitive striking fight for the most part. And then for the takedowns, I mean, you thought Tagir would be able to grapple him, considering Maksum got taken down by Charles Johnson a couple times. But 0 for 8 on takedowns for Ulanbekov, and not just 0 for 8. I mean, he got in dry against Maksum, deep on a takedown, and Maksum's takedown defense looked fantastic, much improved. He took down Tagir 3 times. I thought this was Maksum's win. Kind of wild that he didn't win this one, but I mean, some people believe that Ulanbekov won. I saw somebody say 30-27 Ulanbekov. I think that's wild. Irina Alexieva versus Claudia Segula. The first of a horrible and just low IQ performances on this card was Irina Alexieva, having a gigantic grappling advantage in this fight, not necessarily on the basis of her being a fantastic grappler, but seeing Segula getting finished by Melissa Mullins last fight on the ground, and obviously not being that great in general on the mat. Yeah, Segula's going to be throwing some volume on the feet, landing some big shots, and that's what she did in this fight with Alexieva, trying to rush her and trying to strike with her for the most of the fight. Alexieva actually got hurt in this fight towards round 3. Nice little back fist from Segula. Segula put out some good volume through 248 strikes in this fight. 181 significant strikes, outlanded her both significantly and in total. Even got a takedown towards the end of the fight as well on Alexieva. I mean, Segula had a pretty decent performance. Alexieva did not attempt a takedown in the fight. Look at that. 0 for 0 on takedowns. 0 for 0. How? You're the grappler. This is your advantage in the fight. That's like how you win the fight. That's the only basis of how people predicted you to win this fight. Submission, round 1, round 2, like that's what you're supposed to be doing, and she doesn't wrestle. I don't compute grapplers who have a disadvantage in the striking, especially those who are much worse on the back foot. You have the advantage in the grappling. You know you have the advantage in the grappling, and you sit there and you strike the whole fight. She struck the whole fight. She didn't shoot one takedown. One takedown. She did not. You know how crazy it is. Like, we're gonna get into Melissa Mullins in a moment. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna get into Melissa Mullins in a second. But Irina Alexieva didn't shoot a single takedown in this fight and blew the fight. She blew the fight for herself. Almost got finished late as well. Deserved to lose the fight. Good performance by Claudia Segula to get herself in the win column in the UFC. But, I mean, genuinely, as frustrating of a performance to watch. My biggest pet peeve on a fight is watching a fighter completely abandon their best way to win. I want to watch the best fighter versus the best fighter, and them both fighting at the best of their abilities to win that way. If they completely go against the correct game plan, and I mean there are blatantly correct game plans, and we'll talk about Bahamondes in a moment. We'll talk about Melissa Mullins right here, actually. We just talked about Alexieva. Alexieva's the grappler. She doesn't shoot a single takedown, make it make sense. Melissa Mullins has shot 6 takedowns in this fight. Now, you look at her shooting 6 takedowns, she lost the fight, you're like, okay, how'd she lose? She already beat Daria Lesniakova about 2 years ago, and Melissa Mullins, finished her in round 1. Mullins decided to strike in round 1. Let's go round by round on this one. I feel like this will be more interesting. She decided to strike in round 1. She shot a takedown very, very early in this round and got stuffed, and it seemingly just completely took away all of her confidence in the takedowns. Lesniakova starches her pretty badly. I don't know if she knocked her down. I don't think she did. But she beat the life out of her on the feet. She beat the life out of Melissa Mullins on the feet in round 1. Was cracking her big, landing some big volume. Obviously, outstruck her big time here, both in total and significant strikes. Yeah, was quite literally mopping the floor with Melissa Mullins on the feet. Mullins got cracked. She ended up taking down Lesniakova later in the round and had an armbar synced in. Lesniakova defended it pretty well, and the time was running out. So maybe if there was another minute, another 30 seconds on the clock, maybe Melissa Mullins would have finished that armbar. So Lesniakova defended it, got out of the clock. Mullins, after getting her down in round 1 and nearly finishing the fight at the end of the round, right? Saved by the bell wasn't Lesniakova. Knowing she already finished her on the mat with the ground and pound in the first fight after taking her back in round 1 after getting the life beaten out of her. Also telling the commentators in the fighter meetings that Lesniakova is the hardest she's ever been hit. The hardest hitter that Melissa Mullins has faced, according to Melissa Mullins, is Lesniakova. So what does she do in round 2? She shoots 1 takedown. When's that takedown? At the very end of the round after she gets clipped again and get the life beaten out of her again in round 2. Again, outlanded. Although Mullins was landing a little bit better in round 2. She was landing a couple big shots overall. Some right hands was pretty good. But Lesniakova, again, was landing much better overall in round 2. And she clipped Melissa Mullins again. Hurt her pretty badly. I don't know if this was the round with the body shot. I think it was round 2 was the body shot. It was either round 2 or round 3. And Mullins got hurt pretty badly, then ended up taking Lesniakova down with the double leg, and she sat on top for the rest of the rounds. Lesniakova defended it pretty well, and Mullins, again, finishes a round on top with basically comfortable top time against Lesniakova at the end of the round. And what did she do in round 3? Very lackingly shoots these takedowns. Again, gets outstruck in round 3. I mean, it's another grappler who did not proactively grapple in a fight. Yes, she shot a few more takedowns than Lesniakova. Oh my god. Yes, she shot a few more takedowns than Alexieva did, and Alexieva didn't shoot a single takedown at all. Obviously, much different. But the fact that she already finished Lesniakova 2 years ago, and the fact that she had an armbar in round 1, and then she still chose to constantly strike against her in round 2 and round 3. I could not believe what I was watching in Mullins through that fight. Lesniakova won, got that one back on Mullins. Pretty decent performance from Lesniakova. Much worse from Melissa Mullins there. Again, same thing with Alexieva and Segula. Good performance by Segula. Much worse performance for Alexieva than it was a good performance for Segula, similarly for that one. Now, Nardiev looks very good round 1, and this is where, first of all, we have a couple conversations on this fight, of course, because a little something interesting happened in this fight, Nardiev looked great round 1. He was explosive, really good striker, was landing big shots in Jung Young Park. Jung Young Park looked a lot slower, but he kept moving forward. A typical Jung Young Park fight. Iron Turtle, you know how it goes with him, right? Moving forward in this fight. I don't know, he didn't get knocked down, right? But he got hurt pretty badly, got hit pretty badly in this fight, right? Round 1, very clear Nardiev. Nardiev landed the much bigger shots. I mean, pretty big discrepancy here. I think Jung Young Park had like a submission attempt later in the round, but it was a very clear Nardiev round. And we knew how this fight was going to go. Either Nardiev hurts him early and gets him clipped pretty bad, or Jung Young Park is going to pace him. Now, round 2, illegal knee. Right in the beginning of the round, Nardiev lands a illegal knee against Jung Young Park. And there's a nasty cut over the left eye of Jung Young Park. I'm putting my right eye, but the left eye of Jung Young Park right there. And it's a really, really bad cut. And for whatever reason, the doctor decided that Jung Young Park this is good to fight after several minutes, or 4.5 minutes or so, of evaluating where the eye is still being winced. He could barely see through the eye, and 100%, by the way, was not, should not have been able to fight again. That should have been a disqualification on Nardiev. But instead, the ref puts him back in the fight. The doctor says he could fight. The ref told the doctor, you have to make a decision. And the doctor decided that Jung Young Park is ready to fight. No garbage at all, right? They're in Azerbaijan, no any sort of, push for Nardiev to win this fight. They thought it was looking good for him. No, not at all. Instead, what happens, and instead of Nardiev continuing after that big knee and obviously the dominant round one. Jung Young Park completely routs him the rest of the fight. He pushes the pace. Now, the numbers don't necessarily show it because they're kind of more tailored to the striking, but one takedown each, but the control was heavily in favor of Jung Young Park, and he paced Nardiev in round two. Nardiev got exhausted. He thought he had won the fight after illegal knee. He thought it got stopped. It was illegal. He didn't even know. 2 points were taken away, by the way, which I actually agree with, because the last time 2 points were taken away, according to the broadcast, was John Jones against Anthony Smith, where Anthony Smith had a very similar situation to Jung Young Park, where he got up and continued to fight, regardless of, probably him not necessarily being able to, or should have been able to, right? Or should have said he was. Yeah, so 2 points taken away makes sense because it should have been a DQ, and Nardiev had to finish the fight at that point, because if you don't win all 3 rounds after you should have been disqualified, you really shouldn't be able to get a win here, and that's what the position Nardiev was in. Great performance from the Iron Turtle. I mean, fantastic. Round 3 was a complete pacing. He literally dog walked Nardiev all of round 3, and it was so fun to watch. Speaking of dog walks, Sok Hyun Ko completely routed Oban Elliott. I mean, the striking numbers showed himself. 10 significant strikes throughout an entire 3-round fight for Oban Elliott. Wrong fight I'm clicking on. And on top of the whole thing, he got routed. He got taken down 6 times in this fight. Oban Elliott did not land a single takedown. He got outclassed big time. I knew Oban Elliott was a fraud. I picked against him. I picked on him, actually. I picked Oban Elliott. I don't know why I said I picked against him. I picked Oban Elliott in this fight. And I looked like an idiot, and I felt like an idiot when picking Oban Elliott in this fight. I didn't understand what he was doing in this fight. I knew he wasn't that good. I knew he was a fraud. I've talked about it in my breakdowns, but at the same time, didn't think it was this bad. Seokhyun Ho, if you go watch him on the Contender Series, if you watch him, what's the Contender Series? I can't remember. And you watch him in the regional scene, he wasn't that good. He really wasn't that good. He fought a 51-year-old on the regional scene, was getting beaten by much worse overall fighters, and honestly, he did look a little bit improved, and it was a pretty good performance from him. I think Elliott just looked horrible. Really, honestly, this was a much better performance from Hyun Ko than it was for some of those other fights that I talked about, like the Melissa Mullins fight, like the Irina Alekseeva fight. Good performances, Seokhyun Ho. Quite literally just outclassed Oban Elliott on the feet, on the mat. Really good showcasing from him overall to end the prelims. Entering the main card, really weird fight to start off the card, and Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. Naimov obviously outlanding him throughout the fight. Regular strike significantly, not necessarily. It was a really weird fight. Grad was actually the one pushing the pace. Naimov, expectedly pushing the pace, but wrestling, I didn't expect it too often. 10 takedown attempts. Pretty interesting as well. Naimov, round 1, probably won it. I think that's where the round people thought that Grad won, that people called it a robbery for. Round 2 was a very clear Bogdan Grad round, and I thought round 3 was a very, very clear Mohamed Naimov round, where you're in this situation now where round 1's kind of the swing. You got the takedown from Bogdan Grad, landing the more significant strikes, although very even on the strike. Really weird round. I did have it for Naimov. Not sure if these are the official numbers. I mean, I am recording this literally right after, but yeah, I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a whatever performance from both of them. Fight could have gone either way. I thought Naimov won it, but I'm not necessarily too confident on either one. Oh my God, John Jones retired. I gotta make a video on that. John Jones retired. In the middle of me making this video, John Jones retired. Wow. Okay, anyways, let's move on. I gotta go make this video, you know what I mean? Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Malta. Fight of the year. Unbelievable fight of the year between Nazim Sadikov and Nicholas Malta. I mean, I could not believe what I was watching between these two. Malta had him against the ropes. It was an unbelievable comeback from Nazim. I cannot believe John Jones actually retired. He actually cowered away and held on to the title for this one. Anyways, Sadikov versus Nicholas Malta. Unbelievable fight. Malta got him against the cage. Malta was pressuring him, put him against his back, and it looked like Sadikov was going to be out of there. And an unbelievable comeback performance from Sadikov. Right after that, Malta put up a lot of energy into that finishing sequence, and he didn't get the finish. The fight didn't get called. It very well could have gotten called. And then Sadikov ended up putting on a great ending to round 1, and then round 2, fantastic fight. Fight of the year contender, and then Sadikov lands a fantastic shot and knocks out Nicholas Malta right there. So really good performance from Sadikov, a really good comeback win. Fantastic fight from both of them, guaranteed fight of the night. This was a very big levels fight. Not only levels, but this is a 35-year-old in Musayev that looked like a 35-year-old coming off of a 2-year layoff fighting in his home country, probably only because it's in his home country. In his UFC debut, 8 years older than Miktabek Orolbai, who is literally a granite chin, brick head type of fighter, moving forward all fight. And he showed that. He literally moved forward the entire fight, was pressuring Musayev 3 takedowns throughout the entire first round of 5 attempts. Musayev had a couple good defensive positions But then Orolbai ended up stepping over in like a side control position after landing, by the way, 2 takedowns of those 3 were off of a left hook entry that landed cleanly flush on Musayev, and then he shot a single leg off of that left hook that landed. It was beautiful, unbelievable sequence from Orolbai. Put Orolbai in a cage right now with Justin Gaethje, he finishes him. Finishes Justin Gaethje. Anyways, 27 years old is fantastic for Orolbai. The guy looks fantastic. Brick wall. I mean, so fun to watch. Insane pace. Really fun. Robbery of the night. Kaniev versus Blades. Rizvan Kaniev won this fight. I don't know how you could tell me that Kaniev lost this fight. How could you ever convince anybody that Kaniev lost this fight? I understand the total strike numbers. I understand the significant strike numbers, but you need to look at it per round. Now, I know Blades landed the more significant strikes in this round. He had the more control, and I understand. That's with these numbers right now. I'm not sure if these are official. But Kaniev landed the better shots in round 3, in my opinion. I think he landed the much better shots in round 1, rather. In round 1, he landed the much better shots. These 2 takedowns that Blades had, immediately Kaniev got right back up from them. I think Kaniev landed the much better strikes in round 1, so I did give Kaniev the round 1, but it was very, very close. Round 2, very clear. Kaniev hurt Blades several times, outlanded him in that fight, and just a much bigger shots overall. And in round 3, Blades landed the more volume. For sure landed the more volume in this fight, but the shots that Kaniev was landing were way more impactful than the shots Blades was landing. And I could not believe the amount of people are talking about control time in this fight. It's not just volume. It's not just control time. It is the damage you do in the fight. And Kaniev did way more damage in rounds 1, 2, and 3 individually, hurting Blades at the end of round 3 on top of that, which is a significant push for that round 3 thing, for that round 3 decision. But 2 judges scored it for Blades. I legitimately couldn't believe it. I had Kaniev winning this fight. I thought he hurt Blades pretty often in rounds 2 and 3, and Blades didn't really do too much in the striking in those fights, although he was landing. So I thought it was a horrible decision. I thought Kaniev 100% won this fight, and we move on. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Fiziev. Bad performance from Bahamondes overall. Not really pushing the pace early, not trying to get Fiziev a little bit gas in round 3, which you typically see Fiziev doing, where Bahamondes actually has some decent cardio. Fiziev looked vintage. He looked classic. He looked unbelievable. He looked explosive. I mean, great defense overall. Obviously, got a couple landed in the pocket, but his body work is always like second to none, essentially. The best Muay Thai in the world, nonetheless. No, you can't really argue about the Muay Thai of Fiziev. I think it looked fantastic, mixing the takedowns, landed all 4 of them. When Bahamondes was shooting takedowns, I was wildly confused. I've never seen Bahamondes shoot for a takedown really often in his career at all, if at all in the UFC, and shooting against Fiziev was probably the dumbest thing I've seen. Yeah, I don't get what Bahamondes' plan was. Throwing the spin kicks and the high kicks constantly, I think he landed one of them. But knowing what Fiziev is and knowing how, if you watch any of Fiziev's tape, like, that's the one thing you don't throw against this guy. High kicks. Matrix. The whole fight, vintage Matrix performance from Fiziev. Love the performance from him. Good 3 rounds out of him as well, in my opinion. 30-27 is not a bad scorecard at all. And on to the most embarrassing, not only performance of the night, but fighter of the night in Jamal Hill. He looked horrible in every single round. He not only looked horrible in every single round, he fought as bad of a fight as he could have fought in every single round. He played a leg kick game with Khalil Rountree. His leg was chewed up. His left leg or right leg? His right leg was chewed up the entire first round. And in the second round at the beginning, was getting clipped bad on that right leg. He could no longer move well on that right leg. And I think that ruined his movement the whole fight. But I don't think that was the reason that Jamal Hill was not fighting well all fight. He thought he was doing well. He legitimately thought he was competing in this fight. He got dropped several times. I mean, let's go look at these knockdowns, right? They only recorded 1 knockdown for Rountree. I think that's crazy. I think there were like 2 or 3. I don't know how they recorded only 1. It was in round 3. There were more. I mean, let's look at these strike count numbers, right? Rountree outstruck him significantly in round 1. He landed the much better shots. They were mainly a leg kick game, where Rountree landed the much better leg kicks overall. Hill did outland him in round 2, but again, Rountree very clearly was landing the much better shots in round 2. This is a horrible pick by me. I think my a couple of my last cards, I mean, they've been horrible. I don't know why, but I've been horrible. And Petrosky and Jamal Hill were 100% my 2 worst picks ever. Rountree, again, this is round 3 where he was outlanding him big, and then obviously the big knockdown. Same thing with round 4, outlanding him pretty big. I thought there was a knockdown in there. I think round 5 as well. I can't remember exactly. I think it was round 2, 3, and 4 there were knockdowns. At least round 2 and 3. I don't remember exactly. But I know round 3, at least there was 1. And they scored that one. There were more than 1. I know there was more than 1. I just watched this. And he outstruck him big in round 5. Jamal Hill was dead shocked. Could not believe it that he lost 50-45. Like, when he heard the judges' scorecards, he was in shock. It's embarrassing. You put on an embarrassing performance. You did not throw the volume you were supposed to throw. Lack of volume up top with the boxing from Hill was legitimately embarrassing. A leg kick game with Khalil Roundtree, knowing what Jamal Hill is, that is embarrassing. The way he reacted after round 5, going up to Khalil Roundtree, I think Jamal Hill went to Khalil Roundtree and basically told him he was running. To some extent, I don't know. It seemed like he told Khalil Roundtree that Roundtree was running, and then why didn't he want to get in the middle with him? Why didn't he want to fight with Hill? Roundtree told Hill, and I saw this. I'm pretty sure I heard it from Roundtree as I was watching him say it. Roundtree told Hill, to what I assume Hill was saying, that he was complaining that Roundtree was running away, even though Roundtree was beating him up every single round, and he knocked him down in a couple rounds, right? Roundtree said, "You're hard to read, and I'm trying to protect myself." How Jamal Hill thinks he's running away after he's the one getting knocked down is crazy. It's insane. And then shocked that I lost it. I lost it. Not only did Hill know, I mean, he didn't know he was down. I think everybody in the world knew Jamal Hill lost the first 3 rounds, even the first 2. And yet Jamal Hill and his corner thought it was competitive. And in round 4, at the end of it, even his corner told him that he had to go for a knock on round 5, and he still didn't push the pace. He still didn't go on and put a boxing performance. It was as embarrassing of a performance, as embarrassing of a showcasing of who you are, let alone the fighter you are, in Jamal Hill. And I suck for picking him. It was horrible. Honestly, in mid-card, 5 out of 10. I am 4 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, an okay prelim or 2. The main card was 4 great fights. Honestly, 2 bad ones. The Roundtree and the and the opener, the 9-mile fight, were pretty bad, to be honest. And yeah, thank God we have UFC 317, because that card's sick. I don't want to see Jamal Hill fight in the UFC again, to be honest. I mean, 3 straight losses, I get it. They're to champion, and title challenger, but I mean, he looked horrible. He barely won a minute of this fight. Barely won a minute of the fight. And does not seem to be growing at all. Does not seem to be anywhere self-aware. I mean, yes, he's a UFC champion. I get it, and I've been using that as a basis. And his wins against Glover, I am not taking that from him, and he has better wins. I mean, he knocked out Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker knocked out Khalil Roundtree. You know how this goes, right? But at the end of the day, I've never seen anybody as embarrassing as Jamal Hill for what the style fight that he just fought. And maybe he's dealing with something. I get it. I understand that. But dude, the way he's talking in these press conferences, the way he's talking in these interviews, these face-offs, even how he acted after with Khalil Roundtree, like, oozing with either confidence or arrogance. Which one is it? Confidence is warranted, right? It's something with substance. Arrogance is no substance. It's overconfidence. It's overzealous. It's assuming more of yourself than you are, right? And that's what Jamal Hill is. Now, I'm some fat guy on the internet sitting on my chair talking about this. I get that. I understand that. But we're talking relative to UFC fighters. It's embarrassing. As much of an embarrassing night for Jamal Hill, probably in my opinion, more than UFC 300 was. I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching. That was the UFC Baku fight card recap. Blanked it completely. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say on this John Jones retired video. I cannot wait to make this video. Appreciate all you guys for watching. See you guys tomorrow. I'm uploading daily now because I'm now back from my vacation. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys like this video. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.